Hi guys, welcome to this update video on Melissa, my second and final update for today. So Hurricane Melissa remains a powerful Category 4 hurricane that is slowly making its way towards the island of Jamaica, pretty locked in with that expected landfall where the eye is going to be moving on shore. So the entire island will be facing devastating impacts from the system. As of the latest update, it is holding on to that major Category 4 hurricane intensity, and in my previous video, which was done early this morning, the system was close to Category 4 status, but it actually became a Cat 4 in the 5 a.m. update and has been holding on to intensity. And once there is a drop in the pressure, that low pressure of the system, once that drops, that is a key sign of intensification. So earlier this morning, when Melissa was designated a Category 4 hurricane, between then and now, the pressure for it has dropped. So even though it is sustaining the same 140-mile-per-hour winds with higher gusts, this leads me to believe that the system is going to resume that strengthening trend very, very shortly. So here we're looking at this monster on satellite imagery. We can see that it is churning. There's that clear eye. And Melissa pretty much went from being a tropical storm to a major Cat 4 hurricane in just under 24 hours, less than a day. So this is what a lot of forecasters were fearing, but it seemed pretty likely, especially based on the prime environment that the tropical cyclone is located in, especially with those very warm waters. That's been the primary fuel for the system. So we have a very powerful hurricane. So right now, looking at the latest here from the on the cone forecast from the National Hurricane Center, so it has maximum sustained winds up to 140 miles per hour, and it is likely to be a Category 5 hurricane at peak intensity with winds of just around 160 miles per hour. And the gusts associated could be close to 200 miles per hour. So those would be the wind gusts, those sporadic stronger winds. But the constant winds that would be blowing are expected to be that of a Category 5 hurricane. The system is going to likely make landfall either as a Cat 5 or a Cat 4 in Jamaica. It really doesn't matter which. The impacts are going to be extremely dangerous. This will be the first major landfall since Gilbert of 1988, which is currently regarded as one of the worst tropical cyclones to affect the country. And Melissa is moving to the west at 5 miles per hour, so it's not moving extremely slow, or at least it's not as slow compared to especially yesterday. Sometimes you saw 1 mile per hour, 2 miles per hour, 3 miles per hour, even earlier, but now it's slowly picking up the pace, and especially once it makes that curve and makes landfall in Jamaica and moves out to the northeast, that is going to be the time frame when we actually see a much faster acceleration of it. And in regards to the tracks here for the system, as I mentioned, we're pretty much locked in with regards to that landfall. We can see that all models available are showing landfall in Jamaica. Just around central Jamaica is where landfall is anticipated. So island-wide, there's going to be disastrous impacts. A lot of people are downplaying this simply because they're not feeling any tropical storm or hurricane conditions right now, without recognizing the fact that Melissa is not yet really moving in. It's going to be passing. It's passing south of the country before it makes the curve and then moves in. So you not experiencing any significant impacts does not mean it is not coming. It is on its way. So if you are not taking any precautions, I just hope you ride out the storm, because I've seen a lot of comments from people who think that this is just fear-mongering when we're talking about a powerful Category 4 hurricane, likely to be a Cat 5 that will be striking the country. So we have a saying that you can lead the horse or donkey to the water, but you cannot force them to drink it. So you can tell people what is coming. They choose what they want to do with the information. If they don't want to listen, that's on them. It's just unfortunate that there are people who think that this is just a joke when it is literally a life-threatening situation which is impending for the country. And the impacts that have already started, especially in some of our eastern parishes, has resulted in some instances of power outages. So the Jamaica Public Service, or primary electricity provider, has this graphic here. It is showing each of those location pins is showing where there is a current outage. So there are multiple outages already across the country. And as conditions worsen, as Melissa nears and conditions worsen, we're going to be seeing a lot more of these popping up. And I don't know if this is going to be the last video that I can post before Melissa makes landfall here. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. We'll see how well the service holds up. But if I do not post in my regular time, you know why. The power is out and I'm not able to post. But if I can do a community post on YouTube, I'll do that for sure. So if I'm able to do that, I will. So not a crazy change here in regards to the information, everything in regards to the track of the system, the expected intensity that is holding, and of course landfall will happen anywhere from tomorrow night to Tuesday morning. So some dangerous impacts are on the way, which have already started in a couple of areas. So those strong winds are going to get catastrophic, powerful enough to cause significant damage to even properly built buildings or structures. There's going to be the plethora of heavy rain that will result in widespread flooding across the entire island, and also the storm surge that will be primarily affecting the southern coast of Jamaica. Persons should have already begun moving inland to safe locations because Melissa's very intense winds are going to be pushing a lot of water, a lot of the Caribbean sea water in as it makes landfall. So that is going to result in the storm surge. So the water level is likely to rise above 10 feet. So 10 feet above ground level. That's what we're going to be dealing with along the south coast of Jamaica. By now, everyone should be in a safe location, ready to ride out the storm. So please take all necessary precautions and do not take any unnecessary risks. We're going to be dealing with a type of hurricane of a lifetime scenario headed into late tomorrow and Tuesday. So guys, as I said, once I'm able to keep you updated, I will. And of course, as Melissa makes landfall in Jamaica, it should be moving out. The majority of dangerous impacts associated with the system should move out by Tuesday night. But then it will be headed to Cuba, likely still as a major hurricane. So a hurricane watch currently in effect for Cuba. And then for Hispaniola, which comprises Haiti and the Dominican Republic, the flooding rains continue. That's been the primary concern, and even the landslides as well. So a lot of the greater Antilles are being impacted by Melissa's wrath, and that's going to be continuing. Jamaica is that first stop for landfall, Cuba, and then it will move into the vicinity of the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos Islands. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today, and I trust and hope you found this update to be informative. However, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below, and remember to always be weatherwise.